Hi, I'm Dan Thomas, and I wanted to kind of give you my little short personal journey, history as you might say, in how I got involved with internet marketing and specifically instant cash solutions. You know, I started out like most people. You know, I got a job. Mine happened to be in construction. I started out as a laborer and on construction. I did residential construction and I did commercial construction and kind of worked my way up, became a licensed an electrician, and then working on projects even more. I became a project manager for a company, and then eventually I got my own contractor's license and started contracting for myself. Now, contracting is a good business, but it's a stressful business. So, and I, of course, I was married, and my wife, Cheryl, was a registered nurse, which is also stressful, but I was working weekends, Saturdays, Sundays. That was just a regular thing. And she suggested that I look for more of a, in the mainstream type of job. And of course, I didn't really want to do that, but I did have a friend that worked for the National Science Foundation. That's an organization, a U.S. organization that does research, supports research for around the world. And so I interviewed and I got a job as a they called it it was a project manager, but basically it was managing construction, maintenance, the facilities and engineering department overseas in Antarctica. Now don't laugh. Antarctica, you'd say, wow, that's crazy. No, you know, I know people in Minnesota that are actually colder than down in Antarctica if there's no wind. Yes, it's cold, but it's also very dry. But the biggest thing is that working on these bases, you got to meet some incredible people. I mean, and not just you know, science people. The support staff, my crews of plumbers, electricians, just general staff. It was amazing, and it was really. It was. I mean, it was really. If you're going to have a job, that's the job to have. Now, I was gone for 6 to 8 months out of the year. My wife, you know, she was still an RN, or she. You know, we had horses, and we had that big house, and we had all that stuff. And of course, Jess, my boy, I got him into mountain bike riding, and he became very, very good. And he was actually an alternate on the U.S. Olympic mountain biking team. He went to the Olympics as an alternate. He did get injured, and then he became an airline pilot, and he was the youngest airline pilot captain based out of Palm Springs. And again, like I said, we had the horses, and we had the big house and such, and everything appeared to be going great. Well, my boy, he got diagnosed with a terminal disease, and it was one that insurance did not cover. So, and they said he has 4 years to live. Of course, you know, he couldn't fly anymore, obviously. And my wife, being a registered nurse, became his caregiver. But within a year, she was also diagnosed with a terminal disease. And there was no cure for either of them. So, you know, the best we could do is just make life as comfortable for everybody as we could. Now, eventually, of course, my son, he did pass. And, of course, we had huge medical bills because, like I said, the insurance didn't cover it. And then about 8 months later, my wife passed. And, of course, during this time with her medical bills, too, that insurance didn't cover everything. We lost the house. Of course, we got rid of all the cars and the horses and everything else. Now, when Cheryl passed, that created an issue with work because of the isolation where we were at in Antarctica, they wouldn't be able to get me out if I ever had an emotional problem, even though I had passed all of the psych evals and everything else. So I was not able to continue on that job. And I had to take a regular job here in the U.S. And I took a job in construction, a good job, paid fairly well, but it was very, very dirty. It was down at the shipyards. Very difficult job, and I contracted a couple of blood diseases there from the environment. I got cut and I got some infections, and went to the hospital. Now, unbeknownst to me, while I was in the hospital, they didn't think I was going to make it. They called in the priest and gave me last rites, and all my brothers and sisters and everybody came to see me. Of course, I didn't realize that any of this. I was out of it. But as you can tell, I pulled through and I made it through, but I had absolutely nothing. And I had these humongous medical bills, and I didn't want to go bankrupt. So, you know, I probably, just like you, I tried, I don't know how many different internet programs. You know, they all said they're the cat's meow, and you join this group and you won't have to do anything, and everything's included. Well, that wasn't true, and you probably know that from what you found out too. So in any internet business, just like any business, you're going to have to put in some effort, and your effort is going to be, you know, the results are going to be the direct result of those efforts. So I was fortunate enough to finally get hooked up with ICS, Instant Cast Solutions. And this program, I know it sounds cliche, but they do include everything. You've got the squeeze pages, the websites, the autoresponders, and not only that, you have the backing and the training. Once a week you have live trainings that you can interact with. Plus, with like myself, I help out all the new people that I bring in. In fact, the creator of this program, Rich Meyer, who is he's considered to be an internet, you know, giant, been doing it forever. He personally will mentor the newcomers in here. So, you know, all of that history led up to getting into ICS, you know, and you say, wow, that's a pretty good story. But, you know, it depends on the way you look at it. Yes, had some terrible things happen, but I would have never come to ICS if none of that had come to fruition. And ICS has been just I mean, it's been great. Anytime I have any issues, I call my sponsor, the fellow that I started up with, and if he can't answer the question, I can go straight to Rich Meyer. And in fact, every Tuesday I'm on the training call. So even as a, you know, even if you're not a member, you're invited to come and check out the training, just to, so it's because it's transparent. We know we have a great program, and it is on fire. You know, and we have some people that they just want to make a couple hundred a week, 300 to 500 a week, and that's fine. They do basically the bare minimum. But like myself, you know, I want to be, you know, I'm not really, I'm okay with the 300 to 500 a week, but I want to make more than that, so I put in much more, so my sales are quite a bit higher. Anyways, that's my short history, my personal story. Some say it's a tragedy. You know, I'm one of those that always looks forward. I don't look in the past. You can't change the past. You can only learn from it. So I'm moving forward with ICS, and you know what? I'm glad I'm moving forward with them. And the program is on fire. And I invite you to come to our trainings and just find out, or just check the red button down below and check it out on the website. Thanks a lot. I appreciate you listening to my story.